it's Tiffany's Content, and there are over 100,000 power outages right now as we speak, going from the West Coast to the South, all the way up the East Coast, even in the Midwest. Let's get right into the action for today. Blizzards are still, forcing that way in on the West Coast. Definitely tearing up Washington, going into, Idaho and straight down the Great Falls, jumping right into the Central Plains and even the Midwest. It's going to be, wet down in the Gulf, going all the way up that East Coast with a lot of flooding and water, but it's definitely still snowfall up that East Coast, trying to melt before the next snowstorm come in. You're going to see those blizzards still over there on the West Coast, and then all that windy activity and flooding, that melting snow on the East Coast. And some heavy wind chill warnings right there in the middle of the United States, right there in Kansas, Nebraska. Definitely some winter chills over there, freezing, frost, and winter activity. Over in the West, you're going to get those heavy winter storms with that blizzard over there. Definitely some windy activity over in Texas, going right into New Mexico. Now let's take a look at the goals, and you can see just where all those blue cold clouds are, definitely in the upper half of the United States. As it gets warmer, a little bit down south, but it's definitely some cold clouds in there. Again, there are many people without power. This will show you just how many people, and it's a lot. That is over 100,000 people right in that East Coast. New York definitely took a hit overnight. Now let's take a look at that snowfall for today on this map. You can see all that upper plains is definitely full with snow. Heavy snowfall on the West Coast and mixed on the Midwest. Looking at this, we still have some hazards out there, you guys. Severe weather right there in the South going up that East Coast. It's still on alert. It also brought, power outages down that way as well, and tornadoes last night. So look at that. This is what the current temperature is, and it's still cold out there. A little more moderate hanging on that East Coast, but that's where all that warm, rain and thunderstorms just came out of. Let's look at that current snow depth for today, and this is the snow that's already down there, that's already fallen, and you can see up to 50 inches over on the West Coast. Definitely taking a toll into the Great Falls, going down into the Southwest, but definitely in the Midwest as well. This will be the next 24 hours snowfall right on top of what's already down there. 6 to 8 inches over there on the West Coast, and definitely about an inch or so in the Midwest going into the East Coast. But look at the next 48 hours, so 2 days, you're going to see it almost double, okay? So over there on the West Coast, it goes up to from 8 to 12 inches of snow. And again, you're going to have that, 4 inches over there in the Midwest going into, Kansas and things like that. But over on the East Coast, you're going to have it up, to 8 inches over there. Looking at that frost freeze temperature, it definitely dipped down all the way into the South overnight going into the morning, but definitely the entire United States other than Texas, because while that wind down there has some frost freeze this morning. Now let's take a look at what it's doing today. You can see it's a lot of snow over on the West Coast, dipping down from Canada and the Midwest. Definitely wet over there on the East Coast, bringing some moderate like temperatures as we go throughout the day, and 60s over in the South. Now look at these fronts. You're going to see some definitely stationary fronts over there over by the Central Plains, but definitely low pressure coming out of the West Coast, and the upper Great Lakes definitely got some lake effect snow over there. This is the total rainfall for today, so it's going to be mostly up in our upper half of the United States. That mixed precipitation coming out of the West Coast with all that snow and blizzard, but definitely more lighter for today for the snowfall. But this is going into the next few days, going all up into Thursday, Friday, and you can see that there's going to be some heavy rain from now into the next few days. Look at that West Coast. It's going to be some heavy blizzards over there. I may even see some thunder snow. Okay, let's take a look at what's happening right now, the action. Look at all of this, mixed precipitation going right into Maine. A lot of snowfall though, and definitely lightning and thunderstorms tearing up that East Coast still. This is the alerts that we have, and it's definitely some rain and wind activity, severe thunderstorm warnings, and definitely some marginal rain and thunderstorm warnings in certain areas over Louisiana. Definitely coming coming up out of the Gulf of Mexico. But then like right there going into, you know, the Midwest, you're going to see it start to spruce up towards the end of the week, because that's where that next big storm is going to come, and that wind is going to be heavy over there. And then you're going to see on the West Coast as well, getting some, you know, marginal rain and definitely some thunderstorm activity even on the East Coast up there. Let's look at that wind. My goodness, 700 millibars right here. Look at that heavy wind. This is today going into, you know, the rest of the day, and it's still windy out there over on that East Coast. Definitely be aware of that. It's a lot of power outages over there, and it's due to all that wind. Look at the jet stream. Look at that red over there in the East Coast and the West Coast. That red over there is definitely strong winds, definitely bringing in, taking a toll on that East Coast and that West Coast where all that blizzards are. You can see the dips where that cold is, you know, getting in. But look at that current surface area map, and you see that low pressure and all that mixed precipitation coming in on our West Coast, definitely bringing it in on that map. You're going to see that rain and all that snow definitely coming in on the West Coast, bringing a blast with that blizzard-like conditions. And on the East Coast, it's definitely, you know, more warmer and trying to ease up a little bit, but it's definitely got some wind and rain activity over there and more power outages because of the winter storm last night. So this is what we're dealing with now. Everything is trying to move out, but you still see that heavy snowfall in that upper East Coast. So let's take a look at the run. We're going to look at the icon today, okay? And let's take it. That was a screenshot. And the run is just going to show you where all that rain and that going right into the Atlantic and everything is trying to ease up out of that east. But look at the West Coast as it gets flourished with more snow. Create a big mixture over there in the Central Plains going into the Midwest. And boom, it's going to be a repeat over there, but this time in the Midwest. It's going to give Chicago, Wisconsin, Indiana, Michigan some definitely heavy snowfall and heavy wind in the next few days going into Friday and Saturday. So make sure that you're aware. It's going to be some heavy wind, rain, and bad winter storms over in the Midwest this weekend. Okay, and right now, going back to our power outages, over 100,000 people are out of power right now. Any way that you can help would be great. Make sure that you're subscribing to my channel. I love doing weather videos, and I am here daily for you. So make sure that you subscribe, okay? If you like this video, just hit the like button, subscribe. It'll tell YouTube that we are here. It's Tiffany's Content. Like, share, subscribe.